Can you imagine losing everything in one night? To lose your husband, your body, your mind, and your soul? To even lose yourself? This is what happened to Agatha, a woman living in a small, forgotten town in America. But that wasn't all. Agatha was pregnant, and she did not know it until she gave birth to a baby girl whom she named Lillian. But Lillian was no ordinary child. She was a special child, a strong child, a scary child. A child carrying the blood of darkness. What is darkness? Where did he come from? And what does he want? This is what you will discover in this terrifying and exciting story, which tells of Agatha and Lillian's struggle with the hidden and evil forces that surround them. Forces that want to control their lives, change their fate, and end their story. Powers belonging to the Moon Sect, Night Sect, Shadow Sect, Blood Sect, and Power Sect. Will Agatha and Lillian surrender to the darkness? Or will you resist him? Or will you join him? Will you survive the nightmare? Or will you become a part of it? Will you find the truth? Or will you lose hope? Will you both live? Or will you die? These are the questions you will face in this story. This is the story of Agatha and Lillian, the story of mother and daughter between love and hate, light and darkness. This is the dark story. Scary story. Agatha woke up with a start, feeling a cold sweat on her forehead. She looked at the clock on the nightstand. It was 3:15. She sighed and got out of bed, wrapping herself in a shawl. She walked to the window and peered outside. The moon was full and bright, casting a pale light on the deserted streets of the town. She could see the outlines of the old houses, some of them dating back to the colonial times. They looked like silent witnesses of a forgotten history, hiding secrets and mysteries behind their closed doors. She shivered and turned away from the window. She felt a pang of loneliness and fear. She wished Julian was here, but he had left for the city a week ago, saying he had some urgent business to attend to. He promised he would be back soon, but she had not heard from him since. She wondered if he was all right, or if he had found someone else. She hated to think that way, but she could not help it. She loved Julian, but she also knew he was restless and ambitious. He hated this town, and he hated the house they lived in. He said it was too old and too dark, and that it gave him the creeps. He wanted to move to the city, where he could find more opportunities and excitement. He wanted to leave behind the past and start a new life, but Agatha could not do that. She was born and raised in this town, and she felt a deep connection to it. She loved the house they lived in, even though it was old and dark. It was her ancestral home, where generations of her family had lived and died. She felt their presence in every room, in every corner, in every object. She felt their stories, their joys, their sorrows, their secrets. She felt their blood running through her veins. She felt their power. She walked to the door of her bedroom and opened it. She stepped into the hallway and headed to the other end, where Lillian's room was. She opened the door and entered. Lillian was sleeping peacefully in her bed, her blonde hair spread over the pillow. She looked like an angel, innocent and pure. Agatha smiled and walked to her side. She bent down and kissed her forehead. She whispered, "I love you, my darling. You are my everything." She straightened up and looked around the room. It was decorated with dolls, teddy bears, and fairy tales. It was a contrast to the rest of the house, which was filled with antiques, portraits, and books. Agatha had tried to make Lillian's room as cheerful and bright as possible, to compensate for the gloom and darkness that surrounded them. She wanted to protect Lillian from the evil that lurked in the shadows, the evil that had taken away her father. Lillian's father was not Julian. He was Edward, Agatha's first husband. He had died in a mysterious and malevolent event 3 years ago. It was a night like this, when the moon was full and bright. Agatha and Edward had gone to a party at the mayor's house, leaving Lillian with a babysitter. They had a good time, dancing and laughing with their friends. They decided to leave early, as they wanted to spend some time alone. They got into their car and drove away. They never made it home. The next morning, the police found their car in a ditch near the edge of the town. It was a wreck, twisted and burned. Edward's body was inside, charred beyond recognition. Agatha's body was nowhere to be found. The police searched the area, but they could not find any trace of her. They assumed she had been thrown out of the car and dragged away by some wild animal. They declared her dead and closed the case. But Agatha was not dead. She was alive, but she wished she was dead. She had been thrown out of the car, but she had not been dragged away by an animal. She had been dragged away by something else, something worse. Something that had tortured her, violated her, and left her for dead. Something that had marked her and claimed her as its own. Something that still haunted her and wanted her back. She did not remember much of what had happened to her that night. She only remembered flashes of pain, fear, and horror. She remembered a voice, a dark and twisted voice that whispered in her ear. It said, "You are mine, Agatha. You belong to me. You will never escape me. I will come for you when the time is right. I will take you, and I will take your daughter. She is mine too. She has my blood. She has my power." She did not know how she had survived, or how she had managed to crawl back to the town. She did not know how she had found Julian, or how he had taken her in. She did not know how she had given birth to Lillian, or how she had raised her. She did not know how she had lived, or why she had lived. She only knew that she had lived, and that she had loved. She loved Lillian more than anything in the world. She loved Julian too, even though he was not Lillian's father. He was kind and gentle, and he had given her a second chance. He had given her hope, but hope was fading as the night grew darker. Agatha felt a cold hand on her shoulder, and she turned around. She saw a face, a familiar face, but not a friendly face. It was the face of the thing that had taken her, the thing that wanted her back. It was the face of Edward, but not the Edward she had known and loved. It was the Edward that had been corrupted and changed by the evil that lurked in the shadows. It was the Edward that had become the evil itself. He smiled, a wicked smile, and said, "Hello, Agatha. I've missed you. It's time to go. It's time to join me. It's time to meet your destiny." He reached out his hand and grabbed her by the throat. He squeezed, and she gasped. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. She tried to fight, but he was too strong. He lifted her up and threw her against the wall. He laughed, a cruel laugh, and said, "Don't worry, Agatha. I won't kill you. Not yet. I have something better in mind for you. Something that will make you mine forever. Something that will make you happy. Something that will make you scream." He walked to the bed where Lillian was sleeping. He reached out his hand and touched her hair. He said, "And you, my little one, you are my precious gift. You are my beautiful daughter. You are my legacy. You are my power. You have no idea what you can do, what you will do. But you will find out soon enough. You will find out when I take you with me, when I show you the truth, when I show you the darkness." He picked her up and held her in his arms. He looked at Agatha and said, "Say goodbye, Agatha. Say goodbye to your daughter. Say goodbye to your life. Say goodbye to your hope. Say hello to your nightmare. Say hello to your fate. Say hello to me." He turned around and walked to the window. He opened it and jumped out. He flew away into the night with Lillian in his arms. Agatha watched in horror as he disappeared into the darkness. She felt a pain, a terrible pain in her chest. She felt a tear, a single tear, roll down her cheek. She felt a word, a final word, escape her lips. She said, "No." Agatha lay on the floor, motionless and silent. She felt nothing, not even pain. She felt numb, empty, and broken. She felt like she had died along with her daughter. She felt like she had nothing left to live for. She did not know how long she stayed there, staring at the ceiling. She did not know if it was minutes, hours, or days. She did not know if anyone came to check on her or if anyone cared. She did not know if Julian had returned or if he had forgotten her. She did not know anything, and she did not care. She only moved when she heard a knock on the door. She heard a voice, a familiar voice, but not a friendly voice. It was the voice of the mayor, the voice of the man who had hosted the party where Edward had died. It was the voice of the man who had a secret, a dark and terrible secret. It was the voice of the man who had unleashed the evil that lurked in the shadows, the evil that had taken her daughter. He said, "Agatha, are you there? Open the door, Agatha. I need to talk to you. It's important, Agatha. It's about Lillian. She felt a surge of anger and a flicker of hope. She felt a desire to see him and a desire to kill him. She felt a curiosity to hear him and a curiosity to learn the truth. She felt a conflict, a struggle, a choice. She felt alive for the first time in a long time. She got up and walked to the door. She opened it and saw him. He was standing there wearing a suit and a hat. He looked calm and confident, as if he owned the world. He looked at her and smiled. He said, "Hello, Agatha. You look lovely today. May I come in?" She did not answer. She did not smile. She did not invite him in. She just stared at him with a cold and hard expression. She said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want to help you, Agatha. I want to save you and your daughter. I want to make things right, Agatha. I want to end this nightmare once and for all." She said, "You can't help me. You can't save me. You can't make things right. You can't end this nightmare. You started this nightmare. You are this nightmare." He said, "I know, Agatha. I know what I did. I know what I am. I know I'm a monster, Agatha. But I'm not the only one. There are others, Agatha. Others like me. Others like him. Others like you." She said, "What are you talking about?" "What others? What him? What me?" He said, "Don't play dumb, Agatha. Don't pretend you don't know. Don't pretend you don't feel. Don't pretend you don't see. You know, Agatha. You know who you are. You know what you are. You know what you can do. You know what you will do." She said, "Stop it. Stop talking nonsense. Stop lying to me. Stop trying to confuse me. Tell me the truth. Tell me where Lillian is. Tell me what you did to her. Tell me what you did to Edward. Tell me what you did to me." He said, "All right, Agatha. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you everything. But you have to listen, Agatha. You have to understand, Agatha. You have to accept, Agatha. You have to join, Agatha. You have to join us, Agatha. You have to join the cult." She said, "The cult? What cult? What are you talking about?" He said, "The cult of the moon, Agatha. The cult of the night. The cult of the shadow. The cult of the blood. The cult of the power. The cult of the darkness." She said, "The darkness? What darkness?" He said, "The darkness that lives in us, Agatha. The darkness that feeds on us, Agatha. The darkness that controls us, Agatha. The darkness that gives us power, Agatha. The power to do things, Agatha. The power to change things, Agatha. The power to create things, Agatha. The power to destroy things, Agatha. She said, destroy things. What things? He said, everything, Agatha. Everything that stands in our way. Everything that opposes us. Everything that fears us. Everything that hates us. Everything that loves us. Everything that is not us. Everything that is not the darkness. She said, why? Why would you do that? Why would you want that? Why would you join that? He said, because we can, Agatha. Because we must, Agatha. Because we are chosen, Agatha. Because we are special, Agatha. Because we are the children of the moon, Agatha. Because we are the heirs of the night, Agatha. Because we are the masters of the shadow, Agatha. Because we are the lords of the blood, Agatha. Because we are the gods of the power, Agatha. Because we are the kings of the darkness, Agatha. She said, you're insane. You're delusional. You're evil. You're a monster. He said, yes, Agatha, I am. And so are you. And so is Lillian. And so is Edward. And so are the others. We are all monsters, Agatha. We are all evil, Agatha. We are all insane, Agatha. We are all delusional, Agatha. We are all the same, Agatha. We are all one, Agatha. We are all the darkness, Agatha. He reached out his hand and said, come with me, Agatha. Come to the darkness, Agatha. Come to your destiny, Agatha. Come to your daughter, Agatha. She is waiting for you, Agatha. She is calling for you, Agatha. She is ready for you, Agatha. She is ready to be reborn, Agatha. She is ready to be the queen of the darkness, Agatha. She looked at his hand and felt a pull, a tug, a force. She felt a curiosity, a temptation, a desire. She felt a doubt, a fear, a horror. She felt a conflict, a struggle, a choice. She felt a question that echoed in her mind, a question that would decide her fate, a question that would change her life, a question that would end her story. She felt a question, and she asked herself, should I go? Thank you for joining us for this spine-tingling story. We hope you found it both thrilling and thought-provoking. If you enjoyed this video, please consider participating in our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing it with your friends. Your support goes a long way in helping us create more engaging content for you. Goodbye, and may you always tread carefully in the world of the unknown.